Welcome to Wild. I'm your host, Robin Lavasser. They say our biggest fear is not that we are inadequate. It's being powerful beyond measure. In this podcast, I will share how to break through imaginary ceilings, lean into success, discovering your purpose, and understanding how to create the business and life of your dreams. From failures to triumphs and all the tactics in between, let's jump into the wild arena together. Welcome back to Wild with your host, me, Robin Lavasser. I am going to talk about something that will expand your business so incredibly fast, and yet it is probably one of the biggest mental and emotional blocks that we all have, and that is asking for current client referrals. When I say it's a mental block, what I mean by that is that we often feel like when we're helping someone, when we're taking care of them, when they're our client, then help only goes in one direction. And when we think of things that way, we think, hey, help only comes, like if I'm helping somebody, I can't then also ask them for help. I want you to be able to scratch that from your brain and say, it's simply not true. It's not true. You can offer help and ask for help in the same setting. Incredibly important. This was a major miss and I'm going to give you guys a couple different stories. I think I've told one of them before on a podcast, but I'll recap it a little bit, in really understanding that there is no harm in asking. But if you don't ask, the answer will for sure 100% be no. And no might come in the form of they never even realized you needed it. No might come in the form of they don't even know the other types of loans that you do. No might come in the form that they would never even think to ask their friends and family and hand out referrals. It's not part of their nature. Very few people are actual connectors by nature. They generally play it safe. And what I mean by that is that I know that my husband used to say, I won't recommend anybody to my employer, because he was so worried that if he recommended it, then his reputation was on the line. So he wouldn't say anything. And yet, what a beautiful gift if he knows this will actually increase the employer's productivity. It'll give them a great employee. So why wouldn't you recommend if you know, not that it's perfect, not that it's everything, you can't control any of that, but that you yourself would endorse. And so why do we struggle so much if we're doing all the right things with clients and we're spending time with them and we're giving them a beautiful loan consultation, and we're strategizing their finances, and we're giving them the ahas that they need, separate podcast, but that's a big one, that they need to not only get educated in the loan process, but also gain control over their own finances and budget because of meeting and consulting with you. When you have done all of the things that you need to do and you've done them at a very high level, and high level does not, again, say perfection. It doesn't mean that there aren't delays, that the appraisal couldn't come in late, that the income you can't squeeze anymore and they can't quite qualify for 500,000. They can only get to 460, and you're able to make that work, and that is a missed expectation. None of those things take away from them being able to refer you. And yet we often wait for the end of a transaction to ask for a referral, as if we have to earn it, instead of writing a narrative in our head that I earn it day one because my intentions are simply to serve others. My intentions are to serve. My intentions are to focus on what other people need and see where I am best suited to fill those needs, and or direct them to people that I recommend that also are suited to fill needs that I can't fill. And if you have that mindset, you don't think I have to earn a referral. You think, gosh, I was already given this gift of a referral of you, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower, and I personally would not only like to help more people like you and keep you in my connection, but also I'd love to help the referral partner that sent in. And maybe that would be, maybe the referral partner is a real estate agent, maybe it's a financial advisor, maybe it's a CPA, but you could say, who do you know that we could refer back to them? So that's I'm going to give you a takeaway for a minute. That's just, I want to sit in it for a second. An easy way to ask is by using a kind of a third party connection to ask for a referral. So if Mr. and Mrs. Jones were referred to me, and they were referred by one of my best agents, Jessica, and I'm sitting with Mr. and Mrs. Jones and we're talking about Jessica, and all of a sudden I said back to them, gosh, I love Jessica as well. And we go through all the, triangle for trust and the edification of Jessica. And then I say, you know what the biggest compliment to Jessica always is? It truly is referrals. Who do you know right now that might need advisement around buying or selling a home that we could send Jessica's way? Now, yes, selfishly, I'm very aware that those clients would likely land in my lap. but I just made myself more valuable to Jessica, in addition to making myself hopefully more valuable to me and being able to add hopefully value to these clients, family, friends, coworkers, and their circle. Because I know they're going to be taken care of at such a high level with Jessica. I know they're going to be taken care of at such a high level with myself and my team. Really, really big deal. That's one way to ask for current client referrals. Second way to ask for current client referrals. One is just like literally ask outright, hey, I'd love to work with more people like you. Who do you know? And I want to give you a trigger right here. Not, can you think of anybody? Which is a yes or no question. Let me know if you think of anyone. Different way to say it. Most powerful would be, who do you know? Who can you think of that's talked about buying, selling, or refinancing? And here's one of the main reasons that I personally ask. People get solicited every single day, especially in mortgage. Between credit triggers and all the things that go on, they are literally getting text messages, emails, phone calls. There's all sorts of ways that the consumer direct, if you will, out there, the machine is saying, hey, let me try to capture this client. And when they capture, you're often dealing with somebody on a 1-800 number line on the other end that is inexperienced, that is invested in one thing and one thing only: find a way to do a loan. Even if that loan maybe doesn't behoove the client at the highest level, even if that loan wasn't the very best setup if you looked at their overall financial picture. And yet they for sure are getting hounded and asked. And at some point people go, oh, maybe, I'll call them back because we were thinking about buying and they've been calling. Jessica referred me, right, for this reason, because I'm local, all of these things, right? I go through my things. And then, so who do you know that Jessica and I can help together, or that maybe just needs lending advisement in general around refinancing, purchasing, or buying? And if they can't think of anybody, a key to this is to shh after you ask, so that they can think about it for a minute. You might even have a piece of paper. We have a loan officer in our office that gets incredible amount of current client referrals. He puts a piece of paper for them and said, hey, I'll make this easy on you. I'm going to give you this piece of paper while I go copy a few more documents for you. If you could just fill it out with the name and phone number. You can obviously wait and give me permission to call them, but I will call them and just say, hey, Chris thought that you could use my help, or Robin thought you could use my help, Jessica thought you could use my help, Mr. and Mrs. Jones thought you could use my help, that type of tie down. And all of a sudden you're off to the races. Now he's been doing that, and literally he has got a statistic that over 76% of the time people put at least one name down. More importantly, he challenged his team to ask right at lead, right at the initial meeting, for referrals, and they're absolutely crushing it. They went from 0 current client referrals on average. They got a few more than that here and there, but literally last year, I'd say they averaged less than 2 per month. And I think in the month of January, they landed at 22 current client referrals. Here's what I love most about that. I love that there were no more hours worked. There were no more referral partners chased. You simply were more intentional and more impactful with the work that you're already going to do, but you elevated it and took it to another level that could then benefit you tremendously. It wasn't sheepish, meaning that it wasn't an email signature that said, we love your referrals. My business is built 100% on word of mouth. Here's my tagline on my business card. Here's my hope. If you ever know anyone, just send them my way, which is really not, who do you know? And let's sit here for a minute so that I can let your brain Rolodex through and maybe think of somebody, right? Not let you off the hook there. And what a difference that will make to your business. So if you start now, early in the year, at focusing, shining a light on, and implementing a plan, even if it's awkward and you fumble through it at the beginning, of not only asking for current client referrals upfront and early, but all throughout the transaction. And the way that I make that easier on myself is I say to a client, hey, just so you know, I know for a fact Reticular Activator is on. You are for sure going to see people who are doing something in the buying, selling, refinancing space, dealing with a lender. And I'd love the opportunity to talk to them. I'd love for you to send them over to us. That would be an honor, right? So you ask all throughout the transaction, and I'm going to ask you all the way until closing. In fact, I might not be able to fund your loan until those referrals come in, right? Kidding, not kidding. So you can have those conversations, have a little bit of fun with it, and just really push. When you program people for what you need, their brain programs back, hey, they asked me for help, and I get a dopamine hit, an attaboy and attagirl, a feel-good moment when I help somebody and pay something forward. And that really is a huge thing in life, but man, what a gift it is in sales when you let people know what you're really ideally hoping for. You're turning it into an action plan, and then you're ultimately growing your business based on those results. If this was helpful, I hope you share it, take down a few of those tactics, implement away. We'll see you on the next Wild.